All right, real quick. Why would anyone be a Muslim? I mean, actually, what is the solid logical reason? Every time this comes up, I ask for evidence. Not emotion, not tradition, not vibes, real, tangible evidence. And every single time, I get the same handful of answers. The Quran is perfectly preserved. Islam is monotheistic. There are prophecies. Okay, cool. So what? In this episode, I sat down with someone who tried to show me that Islam isn't just true, but the only non-contradictory belief system out there. He brought arguments, I brought questions, and together we tested logic. So if you ever wondered if Islam actually holds up under pressure, stick around. You're gonna wanna hear this. Mahad, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 21.
All right, bro, there's no good reason to be a Muslim. Prove me wrong, want a taco.
The idea of Christianity that the Father and Jesus both created the universe is an illogical and contradictory idea.
Me. There's no good logical reason to be a Muslim. Everybody that ever comes in the chat. But what about Christianity?
Okay, sorry. Let's go to Christian or Islam then. Sorry, my fault. The Quran is the only book that you can prove that is the same from now to the time that it was revealed.
Okay, so what?
It's a proof that the message is not distorted.
So, even if that's true, which I don't think it is, because you have the Hafs and Warsh texts, which are different. But let's say they weren't. Let's say they're exactly the same. So what?
God would preserve His message. So when you have a book, that's
just an assertion. How do you know that?
How do I know that the book is the same?
No. How do you know that God would preserve
According
his
to the
message?
Quran, it says that God has revealed the book and that God will preserve it. One.
That's what the Quran says. So, but all that proves is you have good scribes.
Okay.
Do you need God for something to be perfectly preserved?
You want to go through content and not necessarily preservation.
But hold on. Do you need God for something to be perfectly preserved?
You don't need God, but
so then how's that an evidence it's from God?
Because, see, I can't go to Christianity to compare, but this argument is hard to argue if I can't go to the Bible. So are we?
What does the Bible have to do with Islam?
Because in order to prove
hold on. So are you basically stating that Islam cannot exist without Christianity? That there is no logical argument of Islam without Christianity? Right. So basically what you're saying is that Islam can't stand on its own without bringing Christianity into it. That's the kind of pattern I see in a lot of these talks. Every claim has to borrow its weight from somewhere else. And look, if you appreciate this kind of pushback, honest, logical, and unapologetic, consider supporting what we're building here. Over on Patreon, we go even deeper. You'll get exclusive content, daily devotionals, and a way to be part of the community that's not afraid to ask the hard questions. Anyways, back to it. Let's stick to Islam on its own terms.
Okay, then let's just go strictly to Islam then, because every time I've had this debate, it's always versus the Bible.
Right. So basically, you're stating that Islam cannot stand on its own.
I'm gonna change my presence.
Okay.
The idea of God is coherent in Islam where it's not in any other religion. That's why it's
coherent doesn't mean it's evidentially true. Something can be logically sound doesn't mean it's evidentially true. So I can give a logical argument that basically states that premise one, planets are drawn towards each other. Premise two, pixies push planets towards each other. Conclusion, pixies is the source of gravity. That's logically sound. That doesn't mean it's evidentially true.
Okay, but it's not a contradictory idea. Whereas you look at other religions, it is. In Islam, it's one God. That's it. Period. He has attributes that are all part of it.
Why can't you have multiple gods?
Because if you had multiple almighty gods, one of them wouldn't be almighty because they would need power over the other.
Why? Why can't they both be equally powerful?
Because if you had two all-powerful gods, then if one willed something to be, let's say one willed the tree to be green, the other one willed the tree to be blue.
So because they're both equally good and equally power, they only ever will the same thing because they only ever will the maximally good thing. So therefore they never disagree.
No, but that I'm going to give an example from Christianity just to
hold on. What is wrong with my premise? Right? You have two maximally good gods that have the maximally amount of power, and because they're maximally good, they only ever choose the most good thing, so therefore they never argue.
It doesn't make sense. Like,
Why?
you can't have why they would at some point there's always going to be a difference of will,
Why?
or they're always going to try to prove that one God is more powerful than the other.
Why? That's pride. Are you saying God would be proud? Because
Yes,
if God is,
God would be
hold on,
proud.
hold on, hold
God
on. You're
is the
saying,
only one that has the right to be proud.
hold on. You're saying, hold on. Pride's not a sin in your eyes.
For humans, yes, but not for God is all powerful. He is the only one that's allowed to have pride.
So God is going to be proud and prideful and walk around flexing on people just because he's the
He doesn't
G.
have to flex when you're
Well, that's
the mightiest.
humility.
No, no,
That's not
no.
pride.
God is the only one who has a right to pride
So
because
you're
everything
basically
that he has is from
stating,
him.
hold on, you're basically stating two all good gods would look at each other and go, "I'm better than you."
Yes, because you can't
Why?
have two all good gods, or
Why
you
would
can't
they
have
do
two all
that?
powerful gods.
Why would they do that?
Because God, if you have an all powerful God or two all powerful beings, then you can't they can't coexist together. You can't
You're
that
just
it's
making
impossible. It's a
statements.
fallacy.
Why? Give me the fallacious argument. Give me the fallacy.
Because if you have two almighty gods that both claim to be all powerful,
Hmm.
then one of them is going to try, one of them has to be more powerful than the other. Otherwise,
Why?
there's going to be a
You're just
perpetual.
stating that one has to be more powerful than the other. Why?
Because if two all powerful beings will something differently,
They don't
then
will
that's
anything
causal.
different because they're both maximally good, so therefore they
Where,
only
okay,
picks the
you're saying they
maximally
don't
good
will any
thing.
different. Where is that coming from?
Because they're both maximally good, so therefore they only ever picks the best choice.
Okay, but when you have two different beings, like for example, this tree example, what is the benefit and harm of the tree being green versus blue?
I don't know. God would know though.
Okay. But I don't understand where you're getting this argument of they are
I'm
gonna
not
will.
getting it from anywhere. It's not evidential. It's logical.
Yeah, but if there is no benefit or harm to a decision
Things don't
and they
have to
will
have
different
benefit or
things.
harm. Not everything has to have a benefit or harm. Some things are
But
just ad
if
hoc.
you're saying all good,
Uh-huh.
then God would will the good. But if there's no benefit or harm and there's two separate wills, what happens?
You're stating for one that okay. Hold on, say that again. Let me make sure I heard you right.
I'm saying that if a decision, for
Uh-huh.
example, a tree being green versus a tree being blue, does not affect anything,
I don't know if it
there's
doesn't
no.
affect anything.
No, but that decision wouldn't change anything, right?
I
God
don't
has
know that.
one. If
Possibly it
you're saying
does.
two gods,
Maybe if trees were blue, more people would end up becoming serial
okay,
killers.
let's just go hypothetical then. Then why? What would happen?
I don't know. But just because you're saying that God is going to have preference. Are you saying that God made trees green because he prefers the color green? Is that your claim
I
here?
mean, listen, I don't know why, but I'm saying this is hypothetical. I'm saying that this decision that God made, if there's two all-powerful gods and they
Hmm.
both have different wills, who wins?
They
Because
don't. That's my point. They don't have different wills.
every iteration,
Hold on,
including
hold on.
Christianity, has said that they have
My
different
whole
wills.
argument is they don't have different wills. They have one will because they're maximally
Okay,
good.
what I'm telling you is in reality, that's never happened. Including Christianity, there's always been separate wills.
Completely irrelevant. It's logically sound.
It's not, and there's
Then
no
what's the
iteration that you can
contradiction?
point to. The I don't need to point out a contradiction in an idea. What I'm saying
Yes, you
is that
do.
there's no iteration in human existence that can prove what you're saying.
Yeah, okay,
Because
ants.
everything you're saying is hypothetical.
Ants. All ants share the will of the queen.
Okay, but that's different. You're
Bees.
saying
All
two
bees share
almighty
the will
gods
of the
with two
queen.
separate wills.
You said there's never a case where something where two different things have the
But
same
when
will.
ants following a queen is different than two almighty gods having their own wills.
But you just asked for an example where that happens and I gave it to you. Now you're saying it's not good enough.
No, I'm saying give me an example where there's three beings with three different wills that agree that all come to the same conclusion, or any being, not
Three
three.
beings? Okay, ants.
No. But ants don't have their own will. They all follow the will of the queen.
So they're different
This
beings.
has nothing to do with two.
Hold on.
different gods with two
Is
different
the
wills.
worker ant the same being as the queen ant?
No. It's irrelevant. What I'm saying is that the worker ants don't have
Why
their
is it
own will.
irrelevant? Correct. Okay, so we have two powerful gods that have one will. What's the issue?
Then they're one god. There's not two gods then. It's not two different. It's
So
not,
hold on. If two different persons shared one will, they'd be one god.
Yes, but there's
Oh,
no
what if
proof
there's
of that
three
anywhere.
persons that shared one will? Would they be one God?
If we're talking about Christianity, that doesn't
I'm
happen.
just asking, if there are three persons shared one will, would there be one God?
If they shared one will, one nature, one everything, then yes.
Hmm.
But there's no manifestation of that anywhere in the world.
I'm just ants.
No, but ants don't have their own will. They all have the will of the queen. Like you're laughing, but that what your example makes no sense.
It makes okay. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Show me the contradiction.
Ants don't have their own will. They all follow the will of the queen.
Okay.
Whereas two separate persons or two separate gods have two separate wills. That's what I'm saying.
Why? Why do they have to have two? So why can't they have one will?
Because otherwise there wouldn't be like why would you need two gods then?
It's not about necessity. Why isn't that just a state of what
Why
it
would you
is?
have two gods if
Wait, it's not about
two
necessity.
beings?
What it just could be a brute fact.
No, but if you have two
Not everything has to be
all-powerful.
necessity, bro. It could just be brute fact.
Okay, but if you have two all-powerful, proud, all-knowing
They share
gods.
one will. We already concluded that.
No, I mean you asked a question of if they had it, then they would be one, but there's no example of that ever happening.
Doesn't matter if there is. That's completely irrelevant.
No, but what's the point of talking
Your
about
your whole
hypotheticals
your
if there's
whole
no...
argument. Hold on. Your whole argument is that Islam is true because we believe in one God.
Yes,
Okay,
because we believe in one non-contradictory God.
So what? Show me the evidence of like one thing.
One thing, what?
Yeah, go ahead. Show me the evidence of one thing. Because your whole argument is that it's never happened in history. There's no evidence of things, multiple things sharing a will and being ultimately good. Well, okay, just show me evidence of just one thing.
Of one alone thing.
One alone thing. Go ahead, show me.
In what context? Because I
In
could just
any
say the
context.
universe. The universe. There's only
The
one universe.
the universe is made up of parts. It's made up of galaxies, suns, planets, moons, stars.
Give me 1 second. Someone just rang my doorbell.
Pizza's here.
A few moments later.
Okay, so there is no example of just one thing.
Okay.
You can't
so
have
then why
one
is God?
thing
So why is that the fact that God is one? So therefore, it's true.
because the entire universe is contingent. God is the only necessary thing. So
Yeah,
you
but
can't
your
compare him
whole
to anything.
argument for why God can't be multiple is that we don't see it anywhere. So I just showed you. Well, we don't see anywhere where it's just one. So therefore, God can't just be
my
one.
whole argument for God not being multiple is that you can't have multiple wills in one
Right.
God.
So our argument is you have multiple gods with one will.
No, but those gods also have separate wills.
No, my argument is multiple gods with one will.
Okay, but in practice, that's never happened.
In practice, one has never happened.
It has.
Where?
In our belief in God is that He is
That's
one
begging
sole
the
God.
question.
So you want me to prove why He's one sole God?
Your argument is Islam is true is because we believe in one God. So what?
Yes.
That doesn't prove anything. That just shows me what you believe.
Without being, because to find the truth, you have to compare. So I don't know, like we have to see what the different options are. Because if you don't want to accept the preservation idea, you don't want to accept the idea of one God, then there's
I didn't
nothing.
say I didn't accept it. I'm saying it's not evidence towards anything. I believe in one God, but I don't use that as an argument for Christianity. I never go up to
disagree
anybody
with
and look
you.
at him and say, "Hey, you know why you should be a Christian? It's because we believe in one God." It's a stupid argument.
I disagree with you when you say you believe in one God, but
Okay, I tell you what. Name me a single Christian in history that says they believe in multiple gods. Go ahead.
the whole
No,
Treaty
no,
of
no,
Nicaea
no,
was
no, no.
about subordination.
Name a single Christian that says they believe in multiple gods.
The early church fathers, when they had the argument
Name
between
a single Christian that says they believe in multiple gods.
I don't know who Athanasius, when he has the
Athanasius
idea of
didn't say that.
subordinationism.
No.
He had the idea of subordinationism. The two gods were lower. The Jesus and the Holy Spirit were lower
That's
than the
not
Father.
multiple gods.
But if they're gods, by definition, they have to be equal.
No. No, because that's henotheism. That's different. That's not saying there's big case G gods and multiple of them. There's lowercase g gods, subordinate. These would be angels, just different words used.
So those gods are dependent on the Father.
That's the heresies, yes.
The,
So name me a Christian
No, but even
that says
even
they
in
believe in
modern
multiple
Christianity,
gods.
isn't it that the Son is eternally begotten
Just
from the
name a
Father?
Christian. Just name a Christian.
Bro, the idea of Christianity,
Okay,
the
so
whole idea is multiple gods.
the only people who have ever said that Christians believe in multiple gods are Muslims. So that's your argument towards us. You don't get to
Okay,
tell us what we
so
believe. So
do you?
now what you're trying to do is shift the burden again to Christianity
No,
because
no,
again I've showed you that there's no
listen,
argument for
I
Islam.
get you. I get what you're trying to say, but every argument that I put forward, you've said, so what?
Yeah, so what?
That's
It's
not.
like you're just saying, oh, we believe in one God. Okay, cool. Congratulations. Here's a medal.
We have one non-contradictory idea of God, but no other religion has.
Well, I disagree. It's non-contradictory.
Okay, what's your proof that it's not contradictory?
Well, I'm just going to grant that it isn't and say, so what?
No, there's no other belief that has that.
So
Now we could go into morals, we
what?
could go into all of these things, but your answer is just gonna be so what? So then what's the point? Like you're
Yeah,
on here
but
to debate people.
It's ad hoc and arbitrary. Like I can make vague statements and say that's true. Christianity is one of the most influenced religions in the world. Therefore, it's true.
Okay, I don't know what it is what kind of evidence you want to prove that
Well,
it's true.
hold on. Is my argument proof of Christianity being true? It's the most influential
No,
religion in the world.
okay. Can I ask you just for my clarification?
Hold on. Answer
If
my
I were to
question.
ask you-
Answer my question. Is it okay? Is that an
No,
argument for
it's
Christianity
not.
being true? Okay, then why
Your
is it you
argument is
stating
no.
one God, therefore Islam is true?
Can I ask you, if I was to ask you the same thing, what would your answer be?
That's
For my
because
example.
you want to shift the burden to Christianity.
No,
I'd say-
I will
I'd say
bring it right back.
I'd say the
I will bring
answer
it right back.
answer for the reason Christianity being true is the evidence of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Okay. I'm not gonna shift the burden. But so what? Like I could just do the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so what? If Jesus Christ is the author and authority over life, and he can die and raise himself from again from the dead, and he also claimed to be God, what does that mean?
Okay. I see what you're saying. So let me I'm gonna shift my premise again, and I apologize.
No, you're good.
Islam is the only religion that has prophecies that have not been falsified.
Okay, show me one.
The barefooted Bedouin will compete to build the highest skyscrapers.
The what?
The barefooted Bedouin will compete to build the tallest skyscrapers.
What does that even mean?
If you look at the Gulf states right now, right? If you look back 50, 100 years, these people were all Bedouins.
What is a
They're
Bedouin?
all barefoot Bedouins. Travelers, people they don't have a stationary home. They travel around with their animals.
Okay. Who in history has not tried to build tall buildings?
No. But that's half of it. The other half of it is that there's another narration saying that these people will get their money because the earth will spill out its riches, like it'll vomit out its riches.
So everybody
Which is
got their
oil.
money from Earth's resources.
But sure, listen, this is just one.
Well,
Let's
hold
go
on,
over
hold
other
on.
prophecies.
Just name a culture that didn't get their money from Earth's resources.
No. It's specifically talking about oil. But I'm gonna go more.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I grant you that if you take just single one, you could argue that.
Well, I don't think you collective of cryptic messages makes a coherent argument.
Sure, I agree. Let's not go cryptic. Another one is that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told a companion that he would have the crown of the Persian king on him at a time where these Muslims, they had nothing in Mecca, and that ended up happening. He told them that they would conquer Hind, and that would happen.
Cool.
Right? India.
John Jones said that he would have the UFC championship belt around his waist, and he did. Does that make him a prophet?
But your argument is that one sole prophecy can't make it true.
You haven't given me any prophecy.
I've given you, these are 4 different ones.
I don't grant your first three.
Okay, sure. Let's go.
And
to the Quran.
even if
The
I was to
Quran
grant the fourth, right, then that makes John Jones a prophet.
No,
Pira
because
Sipa Saved came in 499 says, just like the human is made up of body, soul, and spirit, the human is still one. I am not 3 humans. We are made in the image of God. I don't necessarily agree with that analogy, but I understand what you're saying. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so let's look at the Quran then. You look at Surah Al-Rum, where it prophesies that the battle between the Romans and the Persians. You can pull it up.
Yeah, that would happen within
says
3 to 9 years, so God couldn't get it
Yes.
specific.
Okay, in other parts of the Quran, God says that He gives specific verses and He gives vague verses. Those who want to take the vague verses as that,
God's
they can.
prophecy was that, hey, this could happen in 3 to 9 years. It also doesn't state, it just says that Persia is going to have lose a battle. So I'm going to say this. if the United States lose a battle in the Near East within the next 1 to 10 years, I'm a prophet of God.
No, but the idea isn't just taking one single
Well,
prophecy.
hold on.
You have to take all of them.
Hold on. Take what I said.
And you still haven't disproved
Am
one
I a
of them.
prophet? Am I a prophet of God if I say that?
No,
Why not?
because one shot in the dark does not make you a prophet.
Well, none of these shots in the darks make him a prophet.
But if you have multiple prophecies or multiple predictions of the future that all come true,
this is
then
not.
you
This
can't-
is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Rome was constantly in battle, and actually it doesn't say Persia, it says Rome, right?
okay,
Rome was
let's go to
constantly in
another one.
battle.
You
and
want
then
another
lost
one?
the-
We can do another one.
You haven't given me one, so don't say another one.
Okay, Surah Lahab, which says
Okay.
that the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, will be in the fire. All he had to do to disprove that was to say that I'm Muslim, and that whole religion would have been disproved. He never did it.
How's that a prophecy?
Saying in the surah, in the chapter,
Uh-huh.
it says that he will be in the hellfire, meaning that he will never become Muslim. So all he had to do, and he had 9 years to do this, was say I'm Muslim.
Okay. How's that a
And he never
prophecy?
did. Okay, you're taking all of these singular.
Hold on,
disprove my
chat.
statement.
I will never be a Muslim.
Okay,
Am I a prophet?
that's fine. No, but that's
Hold on,
different.
Jordan. The Pope will never be a Muslim. Jordan Travis will never be a Muslim. Abraham will never be a Muslim. Nick will never be a Muslim.
No, but if
Inspiring
I said
Philosophy
that
will never
it's-
be a Muslim. God Logic will never be a Muslim. David Wood will never be a Muslim. Bro, I just did like 10. I just did, because your argument is a collective of them that are true. If all I have
And
to do
none of
now to
them
be
are
proven,
false.
all I have to do now to be proven is any one of those people I just mentioned have to become Muslim, and I'll be disproven as a prophet of God.
No, but the idea isn't just to take one. You're taking every single one of these as singular. I'm saying that you
Well,
can't
your
disprove
argument is if it's collective, then it makes him a prophet of God. So I just gave you 10 prophecies, right? I stated that that if the United States loses a battle in the Near East 1 to 10 years, and then I stated like 9 people will never claim that they're a Muslim. So if any of that comes to fruition, I am now a prophet of God. In 10 years, you should follow my religion of Glibligler.
What I'm saying is that none of these prophecies have been disproven.
Right. So if none of my prophecy is disproven within 10 years, you will join my religion of Glibligler.
No, because
Why not?
that's not the sole argument. That's not the sole reason that someone should be Muslim.
Then it's not a reason.
No. A reason doesn't have to be the only reason. A reason can be a reason.
So God needs a collective of little bits and pieces?
No,
He's going to give
multiple
vague
reasons to
prophecies that
believe.
are extremely cryptic?
What is cryptic about barefooted Bedouins competing to build skyscrapers? And the
Because
earth puking out its riches?
everybody competed to build skyscrapers. And
No, but
everybody
this was
got
at
the
a time,
resources.
and this is
And
at a time,
everybody got the resources from the earth.
but this is at a time where they had nothing. Like I
That's
don't know how to
bullshit.
explain.
That's
that
bullshit.
They had
That's not
nothing.
a time where they didn't have nothing. They had science. They had academics. They had doctorship.
No,
they
but
had
1400
education.
years ago,
Yeah,
they-
dude, they're
a
not.
prophet that
1400
couldn't
years
read or
ago.
write-
1400 years ago, they weren't walking around caves with clubs going "Ooga booga dooga dooga." That's not what was happening, bro.
No, I agree with you. But
The best
1400 years
philosophers in the
ago-
world existed before Muhammad.
Okay, 14. What I'm saying is that 1400 years ago, an illiterate man made prophecies that none of them have been disproven. Now you
What's
can.
what's
people-
illiterate have to? Most people from back then were illiterate. That doesn't mean they were stupid and uneducated.
What I'm saying is that if
What
you
does
can't
illiterate
disprove
have to do with
any
it?
of the hundreds of prophecies
What
that have
does
come out,
illiterate have to do with it?
it's just adding to the fact that he couldn't
Doesn't add
have
to
read
anything.
about other things.
He couldn't have what?
He couldn't read about how these like.
Well, then you simply do not understand.
understand.
Then you simply do not understand history, because 90% of people didn't get their information from reading. They got it from what were they called? Legend keeper, not legend keepers, myth keeper, or something keepers, or whatever they were called. Who were the people who read it and would go around and recite the stories to the communities. That was their job.
Okay, but Arabia at that time was kind of excluded from the world. But let's it's
Prove it.
irrelevant. This is all
Because
irrelevant.
I could
You know
show
what?
you how I could show you
grant
how
you
I could show you
I
how
grant you the
hold on,
illiterate
hold
part
on,
was
hold on.
irrelevant.
I could show you hadiths where Muhammad met with Christians.
Okay, you know what? The illiterate part irrelevant. Let's if that's
All
if
of it's
that's,
been irrelevant.
no. No, it hasn't because you
Yes, it
still have not
has.
disproven it. If you
I don't
wanna
need to
the
disprove. I
religion-
don't need to disprove vague references to things. None of it's
but
convincing.
like hundreds of prophecies, and not one has been false.
You gave me 4, right? That are super vague and cryptic and can be applied to anybody.
So you want how many? How many do you want? What is your?
I want one that's actually a prophecy.
Okay, this Lahab one, this one that I'm talking about with the uncle of the prophet, peace be upon him. If you were a staunch enemy, this person came up to him and offered him everything, money, women, power, everything. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said no. Now, if you're a staunch enemy, so much so that your wife puts nails outside of his door when he goes out, and there is a prophecy, and for 9 years, all you can say is, or if a prophecy comes out that says you will be in the hellfire, you'll never be Muslim, and all you have to say is I'm Muslim. You don't even have to mean it, wouldn't you?
How does that logically follow? Because you're saying, hold on, if he would have come out and said, okay, I'm a Muslim, people wouldn't be like, okay, prove it.
It would have, bro. It would have destroyed the religion because everyone was already against it.
Hold on. Nobody would have said, okay, prove it.
No, have you?
No,
read,
so
have you read the
all he
story?
had to say is, I'm Muslim. He just had to say
Yes,
that
have you
word,
read- have
and
you
then he
read the
could go off
story?
and lived whatever he wanted, and everybody would have been like, fine.
Have
And
you
hold on,
read
but
the
hold on.
story?
Listen to me. The prophecy that you gave was that he would
Yes.
never become a Muslim and he was destined for hellfire. Not that he would
Yes.
never say he's a Muslim. That wouldn't disprove it.
No.
How
But
would him
if-
saying, hold on, how would him saying I'm a Muslim disprove the prophecy?
Okay. At a time where the entire city was looking for a reason to I don't
You're
even
not
know what
answering
word
the
is,
question.
but they were
How
trying
would
not
him
to believe
saying,
him.
how would him saying I'm a Muslim disprove the prophecy?
Because then nobody would believe him. Because every person that became Muslim was being tortured. They had no reason to stay Muslim. So if they
Okay, so
found a reason
this
to
guy,
leave,
hold on, this guy says I'm a Muslim and then never actually
Mhm.
practices any Muslim practices. Everybody just keep believing him and then return on Muhammad.
at that point in time, the prayer wasn't really mandated. So yeah.
I don't believe you.
Okay, you don't have to believe me. That's what I'm saying. Is every argument I'm giving you, you're saying, so what? I don't believe you.
Because they're
That,
stupid
like-
arguments.
They're really not.
They really are. Chat, are they stupid arguments?
Like if I give you prophecies that have never been falsified, then you can't.
I don't care
you
to
take each
falsify
one of
them
them
because they're so
individually.
I don't care to falsify them because they're so vague and cryptic and out in the blue that I could apply it to anything. Rome will lose a battle in 3 to 9 years. Prophecy. Okay, well, United
Another
States is
one.
going to lose a battle
Another
in
one.
1 to
He
10
said
years.
that his
Prophecy.
religion would spread from the east to the west. If you look at the entire map of Muslims, it's all east to west. Farther north and south you go, it gets displaced.
That's not prophecy. That's bragging. That's more. If that's the case, Conor McGregor is a prophet because everything Conor McGregor said he was going to do came to fruition. He said, okay, so Conor McGregor specifically said that he was going to knock out Jose Aldo with that left punch. He said, I seen his hand twitching. He's going to come in. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to do it. And he knocked him out within 6 seconds. Is Conor McGregor a prophet?
No, but okay, you know what? It's okay. I don't really understand what it is that I can provide you as evidence if
Actual evidence.
and this is for everyone in the chat too. If you want to disprove it, like look at all the prophecies and then we can come back.
I
Like,
have.
I don't know. Then find which one isn't what am I saying that's wrong? Which
Okay,
one of the
I'll disprove.
prophecies am
I'll
I
disprove
saying
a
it's never
prophecy.
happened?
The Quran says that iron will rain down from the sky. True, it's a true thing. But here's the thing: Egypt talked about that 2,000 years before the Quran.
That
here's-
doesn't disprove it.
That does disprove it because it shows that they got their
No.
information from somewhere else, and it's not
No.
from God. Another thing, they get embryology.
It also
wrong.
says the universe
another
is ex-
thing.
the universe
Another
was created
thing.
and it will
You
expand.
asked me to disprove some prophecies. Let me do it. I've let you go through 100 of them trying to prove them. Let me disprove them. That's what you asked, right? Another
No, but
thing.
that-
Let me disprove them.
Give me 1 second.
All right, I'm gonna mute
When
you.
you say
Watch this. Boom. All right. So it gets embryology wrong, right? It says that it stays in a clinging place and it doesn't move. That's not true because the The conception happens in the fallopian tubes. It moves down the fallopian tubes and then it clings to the wall. It also says that bone comes from flesh. Bone does not come from flesh. That's another thing that it gets wrong. Another thing that the Quran gets wrong, it says that the sun sets in a muddy puddle. Doesn't set in a muddy puddle. Another thing that the Quran gets wrong, it says that sperm comes from the rib bone, between the rib bone and the spine. That's where it says sperm comes from. It doesn't come from those places. So that's another thing that the Quran gets wrong. So these are a bunch of prophecies that the Quran gets wrong.
Am I muted?
Oh, and then it also says that the sun orbits the Earth. Yes, now you're
Am I
unmuted.
unmuted?
Yep.
Okay. As far as for example, the embryology one, there's a debate online by Muhammad Hijab. I would recommend
Muhammad
watching it,
Hijab
or-
is a known liar. I wouldn't trust anything Muhammad Hijab said.
or another brother named his YouTube channel is Muslim Lantern. They go over it. 2, this sun sets in a muddy puddle. Can you pull it up? Do you have a way of pulling up the?
I'll just concede I'm wrong on that. Prove the other ones.
Okay, the sperm one.
Mhm.
If I said is there a head between your shoulders? Is it literally between your shoulders, or is there a vertical distance?
It's literally between my shoulders.
No, but is it X, Y, Z axis? Every axis, is it right between your shoulders?
Yeah.
So your head is at the same Y height as your shoulders.
No.
So it's not in between literally. It's in between as in
It
left
is-
and the right.
It is literally between my shoulders.
okay. But when it says the sperm comes from between the rib and the spine, it's between those two things. But the same way that your head is between your shoulders,
But it's not.
it's between those two.
Sperm comes from the balls. You know this, right? The balls are
Yes,
nowhere near
but-
the rib and the spine.
If you were to stand straight up, is it between your rib and your spine?
No.
Okay, I don't know how I can convince you, but if you stand up,
You'll never
Your
convince me
ribs-
that my balls are between my ribs and my spine.
not vertically, but from the left and the right, they are.
Not even left and right. Because
yes,
my balls are below my spine.
Yes, below the same way that your head is
Right.
above your shoulders.
But it's not between my shoulder, in between. Right?
no, but
Hold
your-
on. Rib, spine. Explain to me how this is in between those two things.
Your head is between your shoulders, not
Yes.
on the y-axis, but on the x-axis.
Yes. Show me how is this between my rib and my spine on the x-axis? Go ahead.
It's behind your rib, in front of your spine.
So your argument is that because the rib and spine, that is in between.
Yes, because it's not factually wrong.
Have you ever done an IQ test?
yeah, brother.
How, did you
But it's
did
okay.
you did
it's
you
okay.
like did you
I
like
gotta
break a
go.
did you ever
I
break
feel like
a record for like how low or what?
I did actually. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna head out, but I don't really know what kind of evidence you're looking for, but I'm gonna head out, and I hope you guys have a good day.
All right, God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, a miracle from God. God himself comes down and gives us a prophecy. The sperm comes between the rib bone and the spine. Prophecy from God, everyone. So after all that, vague prophecies, preserved texts, and a whole lot of so what, we're still left with the same question. Is there actually a good reason to believe Islam is true? You decide. I'm just here to ask the questions that no one wants to answer. And hey, if this conversation got your brain spinning, wait until you see me debate AI on whether or not God even exists. Yeah, I took on Skynet. No bias, no feelings, just raw logic. You can check out that video right here. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.